Hey everyone, this is Anshul Sadaria, Software Engineer 3 at Google.
And I am Soumya, Software Engineer at Red Hat and an educator. We have selected a few questions asked by you all on Scalar social media pages. We have heard you loud and clear, and now is the time that we answer your questions.
But before we go into the video, make sure you check out Scalar's free masterclasses taken by industry-leading experts only on Scalar's event page. Link is in the description below.
Yes, so let's get started and let's see how the questions are, what the questions are.
Definitely. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. So the first question looks very interesting. So someone has asked, as a software engineer, what's the funniest bug you have encountered during your career?
Funniest bug.
Yes.
This is actually interesting.
Okay.
First of all, like bugs are never funny.
Yes, obviously.
They irritate you to hell and then you don't know.
Yeah.
One scenario comes to the top of my head for this. So it was almost 1 year back, like my flatmate was my teammate at that time and he was assigned the bug, but because of some constraints the bug was shifted over to me.
Okay.
I spent around 1 week or so trying to debug it, and then in the team meeting I was like, I'm not able to replicate the bug. So in order to solve a bug, you first need to replicate it, right?
Obviously.
And then you observe the behavior and then try to resolve it.
Yes. So in his system, the bug was there, but not in your system. Something.
I mean, he didn't solve it at all, and
Okay.
it was transferred to me. I was supposed to solve it now.
Cool.
So
You were not able to reproduce the bug.
Yeah, I was not able to reproduce it. I asked it in the team meeting, and a senior engineer was like, let's take it offline and we will check how we can replicate it further.
Yeah.
In the evening, my flatmate and ex-teammate, he told me I didn't want to embarrass you in front of the entire team, but this bug was already solved by me. So I was like, okay, that makes sense because I was not able to replicate it. The bug was already
Exactly.
solved. But then why was the bug transferred to me? He was like, I forgot to mark it as fixed and that was the reason it was transferred to you. So it was not the funniest bug, but it was a funny incident related to bug. And
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier as well, bugs are never funny.
Yeah.
So now let's move on to the next question. And I think this is curated only for you. What advice do you have for college students who are starting their journey in software engineering?
An interesting question indeed. So, like I have been through this phase. I was in university, and to be honest, as an engineering student, I was very confused in the beginning that how should I go about it. I mean, neither I had the knowledge of which domain should I pick up or which programming language is the best. So the very first thing is, don't get overwhelmed by so many options available on the internet, because like I was very confused. Some of my friends were doing ML, machine learning, artificial intelligence. A few of them were doing web projects, app development. So that made me think a lot, like should I go for AI, blockchain, all those stuff. So what I did is, I took a month to just explore things. Like I gave one week to each and every skill. Like for web development, I tried understanding, I mean, what this is about. Am I even interested in developing web apps? Or then I checked for app development. Okay, Java, Kotlin, these languages are needed. Android app development, for machine learning, AI stuff, Python.
So is 1 week sufficient for you to explore each and every field?
I was just checking like what programming languages are needed in that particular domain, and if I, let's say, deep dive into that particular domain, so what will be the use case, what will be the application, I mean what will be the applications of that particular domain. Like when I'll do Android app development, I will be able to learn how to create mobile application, right? So after checking in all the kind of exploring, not deeply obviously, just like getting an overview of what everything is about, I concluded that okay, I literally love developing mobile applications, and I thought, okay, let's deep dive into Java, and then I did DSA as well in Java, and then app development, then shifted to Kotlin, etc. So yes, this is one advice: don't get overwhelmed. Try to explore, try to understand what's that one thing that you actually want to do, right? Apart from that, I would say get your hands dirty by doing practical projects. Do as many practical real world projects as you can. So that will help enhance your resume's weightage as well. I mean, when people see that, okay, you have developed some application which so many people are using. Let's say if you are doing open source contribution, Mozilla Firefox, or any such project which is used by millions of people, obviously that will have a good weightage in your resume. And yes, I mean, as you will go ahead and explore things, you will yourself learn many stuff on the way. So according to you, what's important for freshers?
I think being explorative is one of the things which I did myself.
Right.
But I didn't try to explore it at a higher level like you did for 1 week.
Yeah.
I kind of spent, or you can say wasted also. I would not say wasted because I was exploring different stuff.
Exactly. At least you would have got the knowledge that, okay, in this domain, this is used language.
Yeah, so I tried out web development in my first year. I tried out competitive programming and whatnot. So by the third year, I realized that I wanted to try out machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics. Whew, that's too much, right? So I realized that by the third year, I want to pursue in this particular field, and that is what I did for the rest of my 2 years of college life.
Right. And one more thing I quickly want to add is, instead of doing like 20 online courses, do internships, start doing internships. So let's say you are doing some course from Coursera, from Udemy, etc. So just take basic theory knowledge and just start implementing it, make more and more projects. And one most important thing is consistency. I mean, as freshers, as a student as well, we have to explore college life as well. We have to do so many things, right? And then we have to do these coding questions, projects, etc. So I guess time management, consistency, all these things also play very, very important role.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And lastly, I would say CGPA is something which should not distract you a lot, but on the other hand, you should not completely ignore academics as well. Like they will matter if you're interested in placements and stuff like that for top product companies. So make sure you don't completely ignore the CGPA part or academics part. On the other hand, don't over focus on CGPA like I did in my first couple of years, which made me like I could not explore as much as I wanted to because of that overburdening due to academics and CGPA.
But again, maintaining a good percentage CGPA is important.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So let's move on to the next question. Should I go ahead?
Yep, definitely.
Okay. So the question is, can you share a challenging problem you faced while working on a software project and how you solved it? Interesting. Should I answer it or you go ahead? Okay.
Okay. Challenging problem. I think software engineering itself is challenging.
Yes.
Like each and every project has some sort of a different flavor of challenge,
sure,
you know.
Yes, yes.
But something which comes again to the top of my mind is one of the recent projects or one of the recent features that I launched. So in my particular team, this was the first major project that I was working alone on. Okay, starting with the design phase, making some design decisions, doing some architectural changes, and ultimately deploying to production. So we were trying to get onboarded to a new data store. So our team had never used it. So we had to try and get ramped up to that particular data store. There were technical challenges. Obviously, we were trying some proof of concepts to understand if the latencies are fine with us, like how we need to integrate with them, what all different indexing and serving flows we need to go through and whatnot. Not going into the technical aspects of it, there were a lot of technical challenges. Every project, software engineering project will have their own. Apart from that, organizational challenge is something which we usually ignore. Because the team that we were onboarding with, they were based out of Sunnyvale. So we had some cross-functional, cross-time zone collaborations, which was challenging because like I am asking a question at 10 a.m. in the morning in Indian Standard Time Zone and they are answering it 12 hours after that. So there was a lot of delay caused due to it. But thankfully the person of contact, POC on their part, she was an amazing engineer. Like she was even willing to answer and resolve her doubts at awkward time. According to her time zone, it was an awkward time, right? But she was very willing to answer our doubts. So that was one flavor of challenge which I would say you will experience a lot in top product based companies, right? So yeah, that's my challenge.
Interesting. I mean, obviously when we create projects, when we work on some projects, there are so many challenges that we faced. I mean, I would say I every day face a bug. I mean, our life is like that only. I mean, we have to write code, we have to write tests, run it. So indeed, I mean, software engineer's life is full of bugs, I would say, but it's about not giving up. And because I would say, in my career, what has played a very significant role is the support that I've been getting from the communities out there, especially the open source communities in the very beginning. And now it's in the organization only, the team members, the PMs, product manager, etc. So yes, now let's move ahead to the next question.
I have a question for you if you don't mind.
Yes, I can see the question. I mean, sure.
What are some common misconceptions about software engineering that you would like to debunk?
So indeed, I mean, there are so many misconceptions about our domain. The very first is that we software engineers only do coding, but let me tell you that software engineering is much more than just coding. We have to write design docs, we do documentation, we write tests, we have to attend meetings, our team sync calls, etc. I mean, you yourself are a software engineer,
Right.
so you'd be knowing that it's not just about writing code, it's much more than that.
So there is an interesting stat related to software engineering. Usually software engineers spend around 20% of their time just to read their code. I mean, code written by them and
Right.
by others as well. So yeah.
Right. And another thing is, like, in our homes as well, like, let's say if I'm a software engineer, so they feel like I am the expert in computer. Let's say if some hardware issue is there in some laptop or computer.
Fix the printer.
Yeah.
Fix the
so
printer.
they ask like, okay, can you fix the printer, or maybe can you do this and that? So I mean, people feel that we are expert in computer, but actually we are in like writing code and all.
Funny thing, I don't know how to use the printer in my office. I need to ask a colleague of mine, hey, can you just help me print out this document from the printer?
Right. So, I mean, these are some common misconceptions that our domain software engineering has. So, yeah, once you get into the tech industry, you yourself will realize that what things are misconception, what's the reality, etc. Interesting question by a user, yeah. And next is also a very good question, I would say. So it is about how do we approach learning new programming languages or technologies?
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's a fair question because as software engineers, you need to keep on learning new technologies and new languages. You know, when I joined Google, I would not say I was an expert in C++, but I would say I was moderately proficient in using C++ in corporate. Now I was faced with the challenge that I need to start learning Java. Okay, I had to use Java for some sort of an application.
Okay, friends, now we are friends.
I mean, 50% of the code that I have written at Google is in Java.
Yeah.
So yeah. So as software engineers, you need to start whenever you are starting to learn a new programming language, you know, you need to start with the fundamentals first. First of all, you need to have a clarity in your mind that, okay, this is the programming language that I want to get started with.
Yeah,
okay, first
true.
of all. Once you have that clarity, make sure you understand the fundamentals. It starts with what all variables are there, while loop, for loop, like how are the control systems inside that particular language working.
Right.
Okay. The second important thing is whatever tools are provided by that particular programming language, you should have a strong control over them.
Right.
And I think if you want to understand this in a bit more detail, there is a video coming up on this particular topic only on Scalar's YouTube channel. So make sure you don't forget to check that out. Seems fair?
Interesting. Yes.
Seems fair?
Yes, indeed, seems fair.
Because I can go on and on about how you can get started with your programming language.
Obviously.
But I think it would be fair to give it a bit more time and cover it in a separate video altogether.
Exactly. I mean, it is a very detailed topic, like how should you get started and
Correct.
everything. So obviously this question demands a dedicated video. So the user who has asked this question, I think he or she would be lucky enough. I mean, you are going to create a full-fledged video on it. Awesome.
Definitely.
So let's move ahead and
The next question from the audience is for you, and I think it is specifically curated for you again. Can you discuss the role of open source contributions in a software engineer's career and how to get involved? So fun fact, whenever I read the word open source or open source contributions or anything around it, okay, whenever I hear the word Reddit, the first person or the first social media influencer who comes to my mind is you. So yeah, I think they have specifically targeted you to answer this question. So how to go about it?
So thank you for that. And yes, I mean, if you talk about open source, I can literally go on and on about this, because this is one thing which has literally helped a lot in my career. I mean, open source is something which give you an experience of how the tech industry, how the IT industry is, without you actually entering into the IT industry. Let's say you are in your high school, you are in your university, right? So at that time also, if you, let's say, start contributing to some good projects, maybe Mozilla Firefox or Linux, I mean Fedora, there are so many open source projects that we use in our day-to-day life. VLC is there, so many music softwares are open source. So already millions of people are using that, and let's say if you just develop a button in that software, that's, I mean, that will create a huge impact. You can tell that.
So how difficult is adding a button in an open source software, first of all?
I mean, if you, let's say, you choose to contribute to maybe Mozilla Firefox, for an example. So the very first thing is you should be aware with the languages, the technologies that Mozilla Firefox is using, that web browser is built on top of what. If you know that, and you, let's say, are using that particular project, you see a GitHub issue or something there that, okay, you have to create a button or some new feature, and you have that knowledge, that programming capability, then go ahead, I mean, discuss with the project admins that, okay, I can work on this issue, and just go and create it. I mean, write the code the way you would create a button in a simple project, the way you do in your personal project, in the same way you can do there as well in the big open source project. But indeed, I agree. I mean, I know why you asked this question, because it's a project which is already having so many lines of code. I mean, thousands, millions of lines of code, right? Already so many developers would have contributed to that. So that would be a bit tough to understand, read which file is doing what, and where should you write the feature or something. It is very overwhelming in the beginning, I would say. I completely agree to that. But as you continue doing the contribution, it kind of, you get yourself familiarized with what the project is about and everything.
Right.
So obviously it will add value, it will add weight to your resume. The second thing is you will get the opportunity to network with the like-minded people, like you know, already so many software engineers, so many principal software engineers from different organizations are working in such open source project. Let's say you are contributing to some open source project of Facebook, Red Hat, Microsoft, anything. So I mean, once you start contributing there, you can make connections with those people, and they might help you in referral as well when you are looking for internship, when you're looking for full-time jobs, etc. And another thing is, those open source organizations have helped me get a lot of opportunities, because there are always some channels like #opportunities, #scholarships. So the scholarships, so many scholarships that I have received so far in my university days, all thanks to those organizations. They used to share plenty of things there. And yeah, I mean, it's a great way of learning new thing, of networking with like-minded people, and adding some weight to your resume. Yeah.
So how about creating a dedicated video for this topic itself as well? Because I think it's a very big topic.
Indeed, I mean, it's literally a very detailed and big topic. So let's do one thing. I'll create a dedicated video on this topic, and that will go out on Scalar's YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that as well. And by the way, like I think I created a practical demo kind of video already on Scalar's channel, like how to create a pull request and etc. But yes, if you want more details, like how to choose the right organization or how to choose the right project, because that's the first step, right? So I'll be creating another video.
Awesome.
Perfect. And now let's move ahead, and I have a question for you from the audience. It's not from me. Yes, I mean, I feel that you are the apt person for this. So can you share a memorable success story from your career that made you proud to be a software engineer? So as far as I know from you, I've seen your profile, I follow you on all the social media handles. So you have achieved a lot in your career, right? I mean, I can go on and on about this. So you yourself share, I mean, what is that achievement which you are most proud of?
I think as a software engineer, I have just begun my career. So I would not say I am successful, but I strive to kind of improve myself as a software engineer every day. And when you talk about a success story which made me proud as a software engineer, you know, so a couple of things comes to my mind, like whenever we solve a bug, we feel proud of ourselves. Whenever we identify what the issue is, we feel proud of ourselves.
True.
But two of the major checkpoints you can say in my career. So first of all, I told you, like right now only I shared a project experience where I shipped the feature which I was owning end to end from myself. Like I was not taking any help from any senior software engineer or anyone. So that was a very memorable part for me, that okay, I am leading the entire project. The manager is relying on me to deliver it on time, and they are expecting me to solve the technical challenges, be it like complexity or ambiguity, lack of any information. They are trusting me on this, and I was able to deliver on their trust. So that is a big factor for me, that okay, I always felt that imposter syndrome, that okay, I have got into Google, but now how to solve large issues which are of Google level. But delivering that project made me feel proud of myself, that okay, I'm not an imposter, first of all. I will be able to work on such technical challenges. And secondly, I got a promotion last year. So that I would say it's just a byproduct. Like you keep on working hard, you keep on solving technical challenges of complexity and different ambiguity. Promotion is going to come now or like next cycle or
Right.
sometime down the lane.
Right.
But that is also something which gives you a sense of validation. We expect validation from social media nowadays. So that is also some sort of validation that okay, you got a promotion because you were worthy of it. You are worthy of being a good software engineer. So those were two moments I would say in my career which I felt very proud of myself, that okay, I am a good software engineer, I would say.
Awesome. I mean, yes, for me, I mean, I feel proud on each and every small little achievements that I have been getting, from winning the award, from getting the scholarship, to getting rank 1, becoming gold medalist. I mean, every single thing I feel good that okay, I'm at least able to do that. I'm grateful that at least we get the opportunity to do such a stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now a question for you, Soumya.
Yeah.
What are the essential programming languages and technologies to learn for a career in software engineering?
Okay. So, in my opinion, there is nothing like essential programming language or technology. It's all about the use case. Let's say if you want to develop an Android application, so for that you must know Java and Kotlin, right? If you want to deep dive or if you want to experiment with machine learning and stuff, Python is the go, right? Is the way to go, right? So these are kind of things that you must keep in mind. Depending upon the application, depending upon the use, you have to choose the right programming language or technology. It's not like in software engineering this is the best thing. Apart from that, like industry standard language includes C++, Java, and somewhere Python as well. But I think in some of the interviews in the written rounds in the IDs, Python is not supported. I mean, I myself have seen that. Not sure about in 2023 if they are giving support or not. But yeah, I mean, Java and C++, these are the heavily used language so far if we talk about the SD interviews. So yeah, I mean, it's very obvious question. Yeah.
So just to tweak the question a little bit, because I was also asked this sometime back on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So the person asked me if I am learning JavaScript. Or let's say he asked me about Python, but since you already talked about Python,
Yeah.
let me ask, if the person is learning JavaScript,
Yeah.
will it affect their chances of becoming a software engineer at top product based companies, or like becoming software engineer altogether?
See, I mean, obviously, if you want to get software engineering job, full-time job, or maybe internship at the good product-based companies, so their requirement, it's fine that you are learning JavaScript, Kotlin, or any HTML website related stuff. That's completely okay. Those projects will add value to your resume. But the generic and the significant process that every company out there is following is, they have first of all written round, then DSA, like online rounds are there, and for all those things you must be good in at least one programming language, preferably C++ or Java. Like he did his preparation, DSA and everything in C++. I heavily did in Java, right? So you have to learn some industry standard language first of all, and then for the data structure and algorithm, practice as many questions as you can in those language. Like in step 1 you learn the language, so you can use that language to solve the question, the DSA question. So I would say I mean, many teams out there, in many organizations, there are different teams. Let's say there is opening for software engineer for the Android team or maybe web team, etc. So if you know if you have the knowledge of that particular technology in which they are working, that will indeed play a very significant role. Let's say if in your team there is opening for someone who is good in JavaScript, so that guy who asked you the question, he might be a right fit, but apart from JavaScript knowledge, he must be knowing the basics of data structures, algorithm, all those stuff.
Right, makes sense, makes sense.
Yes, and now I have a question for you. So how do I build a strong portfolio of projects to showcase my skill to my potential employer? This is a question by third year engineering student. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think this is a very important question because for all the processes of like getting hired,
Yeah.
you know, you need to first go through the resume shortlisting round.
Right.
And I have told this, I think, a billion times now,
Right.
that in order for your resume to get shortlisted, you need to have good unique projects in your resume. Okay, and the key to having good unique projects is respect your ideas first of all. Like as a person, you observe a lot of problems around you. So pick up any problem statement that you observe that is personal to you, unique to you, and try to execute whatever skills that you have learned, be it web development, machine learning, Android development, or anything at all. Okay. For example, like I have told this a lot of times on social media, that there was a research project related to traffic e-challans. So that I created that project, the solution for it, based on a problem that I was facing. Okay, so I tried to execute whatever skills that I had on the problem which I observed. So if a problem is unique to you, meaningful to you, and you create a solution out of it, that's a good project. But sometimes they are like, I don't know what problem to try and solve. So the best way to deal with such a situation is to participate in hackathons.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I would love to hear from you, like how hackathons help in building a strong portfolio of projects in the resume.
Right. I mean, I think we would be perhaps having maybe question of hackathons in the coming question from the user, but let's answer it right now only, right? So hackathons indeed play a very significant role, and the example that you gave, the traffic example, I heard this from you only in your speech at one of the universities, Kite. I mean, I guess we both were judges out there, right? And you shared this example. So hackathons, see what happen is when you create a project in 24 or 36 hours. So obviously your knowledge is kind of, in that short period of time, you learn a lot many things, right? For example, like I created some projects in hackathons and they are being used by the organizations, right? They are like Delhi Police Hackathon, then Smart India Hackathon, that's being used by ESIC Hospital, which is government organization. So, I mean, you can tell in your resume to the interviewer that, okay, the project which I created is being used by people out there. It's by the SIC hospital, they are using that project. So it will create a good impact, right? They will understand that, okay, the project that the interviewee has created is being used by so many people. So obviously he or she would be talented enough, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there are plenty of benefits. And there is already a dedicated video by me on this channel, on Scalar's channel, about hackathons, how to get started with it, and what are the benefits, everything in detail.
Right, awesome. I think there is a question for you related to the latest trends. So let me ask you that. How can I stay updated with the latest trends and advancements in the software engineering industry?
Are you talking about ChatGPT and Bard?
I am not sure what the person meant over here,
Okay.
but I think they might be asking in the same context that a lot of technical disruption is happening nowadays, you know. So how can one stay updated with the latest trends when every few months something new is happening?
Right. So what I personally do to stay updated, it's like I 101% agree that our domain, software engineering, is one such domain where every other day, every other week, like new updates are coming in. If you talk about, let's say, web domain, in JavaScript, so many new stuffs are coming up in Android Studio as well, like app development only. Like first it was Java, then Kotlin, and then so many enhancements in Kotlin as well. They are deprecating the old stuff and bringing new things. So how I cope up with this, I mean, I or you can also do the same thing. You can join some of the online tech communities out there. So meetup.com is there. They keep on doing, new events. If let's say something new is launched in the tech community, so they launch a new event, virtual conference, attend tech conferences, join online tech communities. You can listen to the tech podcast out there and subscribe to newsletters as well, the tech newsletters, right? So these are kind of generic ways in which you can stay up to date. And another important thing is following the right kind of people on social media. Like there are so many tech influencers right there. I mean, Anshul himself, I have seen so many posts by you. Nowadays he is kind of every other day or in alternate days he keep posting about new stuff in the tech domain, like something new is there. I literally, sometimes it happened that I have no clue and I read your post that okay, this is happening in the tech domain. So a recent post was about some butterfly effect, etc. as well.
Right.
So I mean, I get to know a lot about those things from fellow tech content creator as well.
Correct.
So you can do that as well, because tech content creator, they themselves are in that domain, right? So they can help you understand things better.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm glad to see that you follow the posts and the content that I'm uploading on the social media on a regular basis.
Yes, and now here is an interesting question just for you. So work-life balance or higher pay? What would you choose given the choice?
I think the person who has asked this question is definitely following me on Twitter.
Yes, I think your tweet was viral around around the same topic.
Yeah, because the tweet was something like this: what will you choose, 30 lakh per annum with decent work-life balance or 80 lakh per annum without any work-life balance? Right? So that went viral, like it was posted by certain
IG handles.
Yeah, IG handles like motivation pages and meme pages as well.
I saw.
People created motivation out of it as well, and they created memes out of it as well.
Yeah.
And as a dedicated conclusion to it, I also posted on LinkedIn regarding that. So let me explain that part in little detail. Okay, the observation based on the responses that I received on that tweet was people are interested in their early age. People are interested in earning more money rather than having a decent work-life balance. And when they start with some sort of family or they have added responsibilities, they want to move to, like, they are fine with moving to a lesser pay with more work-life balance.
Right.
But in my opinion, that doesn't make sense. Because for one thing, if you start with more money, it is going to be very much psychologically difficult for you to have such a downgrade, because you have established some sort of lifestyle and now you have new people in your life and responsibilities of them. So that works twofold in a negative way for you. Second thing, if you start in a company with toxic culture and lack of work-life balance, you start to become the person like that itself. I don't want to name companies over here, but I have seen infiltration of managers and like higher position people from leadership from a particular company having a toxic culture. They are migrating to different other companies and then they start replicating that culture in the new company as well. So a similar thing will happen to you as well. If you are in a toxic work culture, you will start to believe that that is fine, that is normal, which is not the right thing. And then once you move to a company with better work culture, you will start to spread that negative work-life balance there as well. So what would I choose? I would any day choose to have a decent work-life balance, be it whatever pay it is. Okay, and that is the primary focus of mine right now as well, because I have got a few offers of higher pays as well, but I have rejected them only because I have a great work-life balance at Google right now and I don't want to get rid of it.
Right. I mean, indeed, be it in the starting of the career or in the later stages, work-life balance is something really very important, because at the end of the day, why are we doing what we are doing? That's because we want to get happiness, right?
Quite philosophical.
I mean, it's philosophical, but that's the truth, right? I mean, it's if let's say 24 hours he'll be asked to work on new jiras, etc. I myself have seen my friends are working in some organization where the work-life balance is literally
pathetic.
Yes, exactly. So I feel so bad to hear their stories, how they are sailing through this. So yeah.
The next question for you, I think if I was in college, I would have definitely asked you this as well. How to network when you are bad at communication?
Yes, this is literally a very practical question. So I would say if you are bad at communication, obviously networking will be a bit tough. So the very first thing you can do is start small. Start practicing communication in low pressure environments, like start communicating with your friends and your family, start talking with them. Another thing that works like a charm is practice, do self practice in front of mirror. That way you will understand, I mean, how you are speaking. That will help you give confidence. You can listen to some maybe English TED Talks, etc., if you want to improve your communication skill in a particular language. And apart from that, I guess yes, the more you speak, the more your confidence will build up over time. And another thing is, you can start with virtual conferences and virtual events. I mean, their networking won't be that tough. I mean, if you go directly in an offline event, you might feel a bit uncomfortable in doing networking and talking to people if you are especially not good at communication. So you can start via these ways, like virtual conferences, virtual events. And nowadays you have social media, I mean Twitter, LinkedIn, so many things are there. So you can start creating content here and there, start making network with people, with like-minded people. So yeah, these are the general ways with which you can get started.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Perfect. And now I have a question for you from one of the users. So will a full stack developer with good DSA skill find it hard to land a high paying job due to AI, artificial intelligence?
I mean, I understand from what context this question is coming into role, because ChatGPT and everything, like you can get literally pieces of code which you can reuse.
Right.
So what I would feel is that as long as you are skilled, okay, how I would look at this current technical disruption is, we always used to Google stuff, okay, we used to use Stack Overflow a lot as well, right? Now with ChatGPT coming into play, ChatGPT or Bard as well, other tools for that. So you can leverage these tools to become a better developer. These are opportunities for you to enhance your skills, like rather than looking it as a downfall. And I would say replacing a complete software engineer's position by AI is still a lot of years away, because I can't obviously forecast the future. I don't know what will happen after 40 years or 50 years down the lane. But for a near future, like 5 to 10 years, I literally cannot see a full stack developer being completely replaced by AI, okay? Because you can possibly configure some monitoring things or some alerts in your system using artificial intelligence. Okay, you can identify what piece of code can be replaced by better code using artificial intelligence, which a lot of IDs are doing nowadays. Okay, so one way or the other way, these are ways in which you can become more productive as a software engineer or as a full stack developer. Replacing you completely is, like, right now with the current state of the art, it's not possible. So,
right, yeah. I completely agree.
I think over to the next question for you. What skills to learn to get, okay, let me rephrase it, okay. In order to get a high paying job as a fresher, like straight out of college, what are the skills that I should be learning?
Okay, so in our tech domain, one of the easiest ways to get a high paying job as a software engineer is to obviously prepare for the tech interviews. You can target the product based companies out there, because as compared to service based companies, they have better package, better compensation. Startups are also there. So yes, I mean 3 to 4 steps are there which you have to follow. Learn a programming language, practice data structure algorithm, work on a project. That project can be application development related, web related, anything. And yes, I mean go ahead, apply for that particular role, give the interviews, and yes, I mean once you get the offer letter, you join a company as a full-time engineer, etc. So I mean this is a kind of very standard and general way of getting a good paying job in our domain. Apart from this, you can explore freelancing domain as well. If you start getting the US clients, I mean outside India, if you start getting clients, indeed you can make a lot of money out of freelancing as well. Let's say if you are good in creating websites, in creating applications, so indeed, I mean you can earn a lot, right? And as a student, I mean you asked after a student age, but yes, hackathons are also one of the good ways. You can earn a lot via hackathons, and so many open source projects are there. They have programs in which they pay you a lot. So I mean, yeah, there are plenty of ways, and HFTs are also there. I mean, their packages are way better than that of even the best product-based companies out there. So these are the generic ways, yeah.
So I think like in order to refine into better words what you told about, right? So in order to get a high paying job, like some of the top product based companies, I like obviously like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook and so on. So the skill which is quite important for them is how good of a problem solver you are. Okay. In order to put it into better words, you need to be great in data structures and algorithms. That goes without saying. You need to have built some amazing products. Now, when I say amazing products, it need not matter what skills you are using for that. Okay, as you correctly mentioned, like mobile dev, app, like web app development, and all those different machine learning, artificial intelligence. Any domain you choose, you should be great at that and should be building some amazing products. Second good thing that you talked about was HFTs. To those who don't know what is HFTs, like high frequency trading firms. Okay, they earn a lot of money and that is the reason they are able to provide such a huge salary. So I was recently checking the news where Jane Street offered someone $400K per annum as the placement, like in their placement from the IITs. And this offer was based out of, I don't know, perhaps it was Hong Kong or New York City. I'm not sure about that. But the skill which is very important in order to crack those HFTs is to have amazing knowledge. By amazing, I mean you should be super great when it comes to C++ fundamentals. Okay, they ask you questions related to memory, allocations, concurrency, related to operating systems, databases and whatnot. Okay, because that low level optimization is what they are looking for. So those skills would be very important for you in order to get a amazingly paying job.
Yes, I completely agree. Now I have a question for you, Anshul. The question is, how can a front-end engineer, React in brackets, learn system design?
Right. I mean, irrespective of whether you are a front-end engineer, front-end developer using React or Angular or any other framework, it doesn't matter. The basic thing which is very important for you to become good in system design is to have some hands-on experience with back-end engineering. Okay, it doesn't matter. I mean, theoretical knowledge is one thing. Regarding system design, you can read books, you can watch my videos on system design as well. That's completely fine. But in order to understand them in a better way, you first need to build some small applications. You need to get a hands-on experience regarding their backend. Then you will start to appreciate what all small integrities go behind developing a backend structure. And then based on that, if you give a read to any of the books, you know, I am a huge fan of Alex, like who writes about system design and so on. I read his articles and everything. So in order for you to appreciate all those system design thought process decisions related to large scale systems, like how YouTube is developed or how Uber is developed, you know, in order to understand that at a large scale, you first need to build something at a small scale. Then only you will appreciate that, okay, if the right QPS is so high, why you need to choose Cassandra and not a SQL database and so on. So first of all, in order to do that, you need to have actually worked with SQL database, right? If you are just doing front-end engineering, don't have any experience with the databases, you won't understand why this is better than something else.
Right.
So get some experience creating some projects backend, and then you can read some articles related to system design.
Yes, perfect.
Now moving on to a question which is a little bit tricky, you know, because this is very important as well, because I keep on emphasizing about skills versus degrees, and this question is also along the same lines. Does degree matter when applying for MNCs? They have specifically asked for multinational companies only.
Okay. So it is very subjective question, like some of the MNCs out there do emphasize a lot on degrees. I mean in their JDs only, they mention that only those people can apply who have you know, a BTech degree in IT, in computer science, specifically only this domain. They kind of restricted. Apart from that, I've seen many of the companies are a bit flexible about which degree you possess. Especially I've seen nowadays the startups focus a lot on skills rather than degrees. So it's a kind of subjective question, and it depends company to company. If they want to emphasize more on a skill rather than degree, so they won't mention it even in their JD. But as far as I have seen, most of the MNCs out there, they have these things. The bullet point is there that okay, you should have a degree from a reputed university in this domain. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, just to add some Google's background related to that as well. So I was just going through the job description as you correctly mentioned. You know, they specifically mentioned that you should have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree depending on the role in this XYZ field if there is a niche requirement, or an equivalent work experience for some 4 years or 5 years or something like that. So you could not have a degree in the particular domain, still have done some freelancing work or have had developed some work experience in that field, and you could be applicable for that job in a high paying MNC as well.
Right.
So yeah, like focus first on skills. Degree is something which you cannot control after your educational age has gone. So don't worry, like if you have not got a degree in a specific field, don't worry about that. Focus on the skills, focus on developing some good proof of works, and then go for it.
Right.
I think it was an amazing time answering all the questions from the audience which they put on Scalar's social media pages. So if you really enjoyed watching this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, like the post as much as possible, add your questions in the comment section below.
And make sure you subscribe to our channel for more such insightful content. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice day.